So here are what I believe to be the top 10 mistakes that guys make when they're getting into pickup or success with women. Now, I've been around this industry for a really long time, and this is based on just what I've seen and what I've seen regularly. There are no specific order, just really as they come to mind. So this is one that I see quite a fair bit. I'll see a guy out there for months or even years just approaching and getting no results. And most often from what I see, it's because he is dressed like shit, maybe he's overweight, he looks like shit, maybe he has a shitty life that he hates, or shitty beliefs, a shitty attitude. But because he considers himself a pickup artist, he doesn't think that any of that matters. He thinks that if he just gets the approach right, then he'll get the girl. Well, no. I think the good game starts before you even approach, and pickup or dating skills and lifestyle goes hand in hand. You should be improving both. So you're not suddenly a 10 just because you watched some video on YouTube or read a book or even got some advice from someone. You have to improve yourself. So analyze your beliefs, try to dress better, try to go to the gym, eat better, learn to love yourself, as cheesy as that sounds. Get creating a life that you enjoy. So what can you do to improve yourself? And when you do that, watch your success with women improve automatically. So a very obvious one is too much theory and not enough action. For example, last year a guy inquired with me about doing a consultation, and it turned out that this guy had been watching and reading dating material for like 9 years. And at the time, I'd only been doing this for 10 years, and here we were, me coaching full time and him having accomplished nothing. The only difference was that he read and watched everything that he could, whereas I just went out, I took action, and I tried to get better. Watching and reading material is a really great place to start and to get some ideas. You know, a couple of videos, a couple books, a couple products, whatever, awesome. But beyond that, it can be really dangerous for two ways. The first is that it gives you the impression that you are doing something when really you're not. It's kind of the equivalent of reading books on exercise. If you're not actually doing it, you're not really doing anything. You might be putting information in your head, which is great, but the moment that you're out there and that an opportunity presents itself to meet a girl, you're going to go blank because you just don't have the experience. And the second way that it's dangerous is that guys tend to give immediate authority to anyone on YouTube or anyone that's written a book. Well, I've met a lot of guys, a lot of coaches known for their material on, say, approach anxiety, for example, and then it turned out that they had crippling approach anxiety. You know, I've met virgins and guys who couldn't even approach, who are running dating forums or even coaching companies. So you might be giving authority to someone who might not actually be that far ahead of yourself. And guys tend to push aside their own ideas and their own gut instincts for the ideas of other people who might not really have that much experience. So put down the book, close the laptop, go out and just do what feels right for you now. Anything is better than nothing. Getting good at anything takes time, it just does. And the majority of guys who get into this are gonna leave probably within a couple of months, and they won't get what they got into it for. Sure, this stuff is not for everyone, so some will leave just out of disinterest, which is fine. But if you go out only a couple of times and only talk to a couple of girls, and you don't keep going through the ups and the downs of improvement, of course you're not gonna get anything. Most guys simply bail on this way too soon. They think, I've been doing this for 3 months now and I still don't have a date. So the universe doesn't owe you shit, buddy. And what else would you be doing? Like watching TV? What matters here is consistency over time. So a good example that I hear pretty often is in regards to meditation. So I hear all the time, yeah, I meditate sometimes, or I try to meditate sometimes. So meditating sometimes is about as useful as going to the gym sometimes. And it's the same thing with success with women. Improvement most often just requires long-term long-term, consistent effort, because success is not a linear thing. You're going to have dips, you're going to have plateaus, you're going to have self-reflection, and you need to understand that. And ironically, most people do give up right before they're about to break through to the next level. So don't think that you can learn a special trick in a month and then get your perfect girl and go back to your life. No, this is an ongoing journey. So learn to love growing as a person, because even if you do go out and get a girlfriend in a week, if that's what you wanted, well, cool. If you've conditioned yourself to growth, okay, great. But if you haven't, if you've not conditioned yourself for any growth, if you're not on a path of self-improvement, then that relationship is probably going to stagnate really quickly. But that's what every guy says. So this is something that I hear all the time. Guys think that women are getting approached so much and that they must be so tired of it that they have to just do something different to give them any chance. So give me the most cliche, boring opener that you know, and I'll walk around all night and I guarantee you I'll get some pretty good interactions going from that. Why is that? Because it's not what you say, it's where it's coming from. She's responding to you more than what you're saying. So the real you is always coming through regardless of what you're saying, and it's that she's responding to. And that's why you need to improve yourself, and that's why pickup lines on their own don't work. So not too long ago I had a client ask me what he should say if he was to approach this girl that we'd walk past on the street, and I said, personally, I'd just be commenting on the dress of hers. And he said, you can't say that, that's boring, that's what every guy would say. And I asked him how many times he thought that she'd been approached on the street before, and he said 100, and I actually laughed at that. And then he corrected himself and said 50, at which point I assured him that you could probably count the amount of times that she'd been approached on the street on one hand, meaning likely under 5, if really ever at all. And to prove the point, I did go and comment on her dress, which was kind of really interesting, and we had a good chat from that. You don't have to be anything. In fact, the more that you try to be cocky or different or funny or smart, the harder this will be for you. And by trying to be something, you're also teaching yourself some really shitty thinking, and that's that you're not enough, so that you have to be something else. Fuck that. If she likes you, great. If she doesn't, next. And you know, if you think that you need to be something special or interesting, it's really just coming from your low self-esteem. So if you're thinking that, just get working on yourself rather than trying to be what someone else wants you to be, or what you think someone else might want you to be. Too many guys give way too much importance to the notion of rejection. It's really common for guys to think that they've done something wrong if an approach doesn't work out. But the reality is, most girls that you meet, you're just not going to get along with. You're just not going to be compatible with. And that's not rejection, it's just incompatibility. You need to understand that you're never going to get every girl that you talk to, regardless of how good you get. And why would you want that anyway? So stop seeing rejection as this big thing that you've done wrong. You must have done something wrong. If I asked you to go out and make 10 new guy friends, it'd be the same thing. You might get along with 3 or 4 of them. It's not rejection, it's just who you get along with, and you ain't ever going to get along with everyone. So I hope that these points really helped you. Please check out part 2 for the remaining 5 most common mistakes, or subscribe if you've watched this video right away, because part 2 will be next week. And if you like my thoughts on this stuff, go check out my coaching page. Also check out my new video course page, in which I will cover everything that you need to be successful with women and in dating. Both links are below in the description box, with my social media links if you want to follow me as well. So cheers.